Well, hello everybody and welcome back. It is Jeff again, coming to you from the Minecraft vanilla server. And guess what? It's raining. Go figure. So, instead of, I haven't spent much time out here doing anything. I've just been shearing some sheep. But, realized that I had like this respiration helmet on, and I have these depth strider shoes on. And I decided, I don't know why, right off camera, to run to the bottom of the ocean and just start running around. And I was like, wee, this is fun. It's just like I'm on the surface. But I got to about here. I don't hear it now. I just heard bats. I heard zombies. I heard lots of zombies, like right about here. So I was like, you know what? Let's go see if we can find out what this zombie noise is all about. Since I have the proper equipment to do so, it might be a really cool cave system right down here that I was previously not aware of. So I figured that would be a fun excursion to take on. I hope they didn't change this. Okay, good, they didn't. Be a fun excursion to take on to get started in this video, just to something new and different. And I completely forgot to use my pick there. I hear those. I hear the bats. Ah, freedom. There we go. Here's a cave. Oh, awesome. I came in right at the end of it, too. So, awesome. Let's do some cave exploring. So, while we do some cave exploring, gotta tell you guys a fun story. So, on Wednesday, I was at the fire station. And oh man, was it a busy day at the fire station. I know I'm driving some of you guys crazy right now because I'm eating some zombie flesh. Was it a busy day at the fire station? Not only did we get there, and the first thing that they said they wanted us to help with was doing hose testing. So every year, let me explain that. Every year we're supposed to do hose testing, basically to make sure your hoses haven't, throughout the year. I think it's supposed to be more than every year actually, but we do it every year, and the career guys do it sometimes because we're at like a split fire station and things like that. So you have to test your hose every year and make sure that the hose is still good for use, and a lot of this is done through like pressure testing and things like that. The main part of the hose testing that we did on Wednesday was through pressure testing, and what you do is you pretty much put out all your hose line and you crank it up to the engine, and you crank up the pressure, the PSI. I believe it's to 200. Now, I can't be 100% certain on that because I am not a driver, and the drivers are who control the pump panels and stuff. So I don't know as much when it comes to doing the pressures and things like that of the hoses, because I just haven't taken those classes yet on what it's supposed to be. But I believe you crank it up to 200 PSI. And you let it sit there at 200 PSI for 5 minutes and make sure there's no like leaks or anything like that. And as long as there's no leaks in it, this is what the main portion of it we get to help out with. You get to put the hose back and call it good for the year. So they slated us for an hour to accomplish 1,000 foot of our 4-inch supply line, 2 of our cross lays, which are 200 foot 2-inch cross lays, and our 2 bundle packs, which are 2-inch 100 foot of 2-inch hose line. Oh, as well as, where'd you come from? Wow, you did a number on me still from pretty far away. As well as we have a specialty 400 foot 1 3/4 line on our particular engine. That's not part of the county regulation, but we like to have it at our station, so we got it approved, and we have this nice 400 foot basically line that we can go pull in. If we're like second due or something like that, our engine's going to be farther away. We don't have to go rely on the first due engine to go grab a line off of them. We can have a nice 400 foot, get around where the first due's at, and usually even make it in farther than the first due engine with that line, which is pretty awesome. We like that line a lot. But basically, we have to do pressure testing on all these. Now, I'll tell you, with enough people, you can get the hose line laid out and set up properly to be able to do so, but you still only have a finite number of connections on your engine to connect them all to and test them all at once. I believe you can do 300 feet of line. It doesn't matter what size line at one time, and you can do up to 4 sections at a time, in theory, with what's connected onto the engine. The 1,000 foot supply line in itself, not only is it extremely heavy, but it just takes a long time to lay out and then connecting everything, and then to put it back. We ended up only getting through the 1,000-foot of supply line in about 2.5 hours that it took us, and part of that was because we thought we were going to have all the people from the Wednesday night crew helping. Unfortunately, what they neglected to understand was that of all the people on the Wednesday night crew, a few of them had meetings, like a few of them are on the board, a few of them are on an HR committee, and they all have meetings on Wednesday night, and this happened to be the Wednesday night that they had the meeting, so all of a sudden there was left 4 of us were out there trying to accomplish all of this testing. Now, we finished up the testing no problem, but when it came to putting the line back up into the back of the engine, 1,000-foot of supply line is a big workload of supply line to be putting up with only 4 people. My main job in this, where I was stationed to get all this stuff done, I was essentially the... Oh, I got plenty of... that stuff now. I was essentially the person who stood up in the bed and pulled the 4-foot supply line from the people who were kind of feeding it up, but walking it back and forth in the bed. There was somebody in the back of the bed who was lining it up in the back, somebody in the front of the bed on the ground who was actually like reaching up and holding the folds there. And I was pretty much doing the, I was the workhorse essentially. I was doing most of the physical activity that was involved in it. And it took a solid 45 minutes from start to finish, because we had to keep, connecting the different pieces, get it right, make sure it lines up properly. It took us all 45 minutes to get all the stuff disconnected from the engine and put back up into the back of the engine bay. Needless to say, after this, I was extremely exhausted. Like, my arms hurt, my arms burned, my fingers, like, my fingers hurt a lot, and it was because, like, the muscles in my fingers, because just the way you have to pull that hose line, you have to grip it and move it and pull, and you just use a lot more finger strength than a normal person uses on a regular basis. So needless to say, I was like exhausted when we got done with this 1,000-foot section. Right when we got this stuff put back into the back of the engine bed, we put ourselves back in service, because we had to be out of service for that because we didn't have all of our proper hose line and stuff on the engine at the time. We put ourselves back in service, and within 10 minutes... I think we got called out for a box alarm. And a box alarm is when you go to like a quote-unquote working fire. It doesn't necessarily need to be working, but all indications are that there is a real fire happening as per the dispatch. And this fire happened to be a high-rise fire, which means you climb a lot of stairs. So not only did we just finish doing all this work with the hose testing, but we ended up going to a high-rise fire where we now had to go climb up 12 flights of stairs with some standpipe packs on our hand, which aren't light, but they're not horrible. But climbing up 12 flights of stairs with them is not exactly an easy feat to do. So we do that. Turns out that there's no fire, but of course the fire that was reported was on, the 11th floor. We were the 4th due engine, so we were, the beginning of the floor above. That's the way our SOPs work, is if you're 4th due, you go to the floor above the fire floor, and that's where you're checking for the fire to be. 1st and 2nd due are on the fire floor itself in a high rise. 3rd due is what's called your RIC. It's your rapid intervention crew. And they're basically there in case the firefighters go down. You want to have a crew there that their sole purpose is to get things prepared. They have their own hose line. They have their own people. They have their own equipment. And if I were to call a mayday because something went down on me, that RIC crew is at the ready to come in and try to make a rescue on me. Like, they are there as my protection. Like, everybody loves the RIC. Nobody loves being the RIC, because people who go to a fire, they want to go there because they want to be in the fire. But the people who are on the fire ground who aren't the RIC love the RIC, because the RIC is what protects them. And, I'm out for saving other people's lives as much as I possibly can, but I also like to know that I got a safety net, that somebody's there and prepared to try to save my life if that's what it comes down to. So I love the RIC. Being the RIC I actually enjoy as well. I take it extremely seriously when I'm the RIC, because some people get on the RIC crew and they try to like get out of doing the RIC crew, and they try to get themselves committed into something else so they can take more part in the fire. And I mean, that's selfish, because that's just somebody who wants to, go, play with the fire. That's why they're firefighters. But there's important jobs that need to be done, and that is one of them that I take extremely seriously. So, but I love the RIC crew. But either way, we were 4th due on this particular one, so we had to go to the floor above the fire floor, which was, floor 12. So all is said and done, it turns out what it was somebody was cooking in their apartment on the 11th floor, and something on their stove started burning, and it filled the hallway with smoke, and somebody down the hallway called in a fire saying, well, they didn't call in a fire, they called in saying there's smoke all over their building and things like that. So long story short, we were there doing what we were supposed to do, and that's, I mean, that's a legitimate reason to call. That person didn't know. So we're there, we find out everything's fine, and they clear out, you know, pretty much everybody from the building back into service. So, wow. So that was probably, I want to try to get the time right, that was probably around 8:30 or so when I got back to the fire station. And so now not only have we done the Rick stuff, or the Rick stuff, the hose testing stuff, but at this point we have also gone through and gone to this high-rise fire and climbed all these stairs. So I am not only exhausted, I am drenched in sweat from like head to toe. I am feeling disgusting. My hair is all over the place, and I'm still having a good time. But, you know, it's just one of those looks after somebody has a really long and hard workout, and they're just like, oh my God, I look like hell to anybody who's, ow. I look like hell to anybody who sees me, but, you know, I feel good at the same time for, you know, because we just did a bunch of cool stuff. And we pull into the fire station, and get out of the engine and taking my stuff off, and there's a couple people that are at the in the engine bay standing with one of our EMS lieutenants who is there. And I mean, that happens often. People come to the station to visit for tours, whatever. And my EMS lieutenant, he just looks over and he goes, he's like, Jeff, you got some visitors here. And I look at these people, and I'd never seen them before, and I didn't know if he was talking to me directly. Like, he said my name, but I was also the first one that walked over. So if they were there saying something that they were there to, you know, because they wanted to tour the fire station or whatever, if I was the first one that walked up, he would have said the same thing. It would have been like, hey, you got some visitors, you want to, you know, check the place out or whatever. So I was like, oh, hey, how's it going, guys? You know, welcome to our, you know, fire station. I was just, you know, talking just like it was, you know, every day. Everyday Joes. Hello, fellas. Hello, both you fellas. And the one person looks at me and says, Jay Sano? And I was like, wait a minute. These people really are here for me. These people aren't here for a tour of the fire station. These are people that are actually here for me. And it was Aviva Kitty, who I've seen her comments and stuff on my channel before. I guess she's a moderator for in Chad's chat, or I don't know if she's a moderator, but she does something in Chad's chat on Wednesday nights. Usually she was telling me that Wednesday night she's normally in Chad's live stream because she does something with the chat. She was like, and she's like, I knew you lived around this area before. I didn't know until the charity live stream when you showed the pin that person got for you. She goes, I didn't realize that you were this fire station that I pass like every single day of my life. And I'm assuming it was her mother that was there with her. And she was like, yeah, we didn't realize that you were like actually this close, that this was actually your fire station. And she's like, I've lived by this, you know, place for years now and had no idea it was yours. So needless to say, I was extremely happy and grateful and got to meet a fan over at my fire station, which I think is pretty awesome for not only for me, my crew was a little more baffled. They're like, oh, because I don't think they believe in the whole, the YouTube thing really exists. I mean, they've seen my channel and all, but I don't think they believe it can be really anything except me talking about that. Hey, look, I play games and put videos up on YouTube. And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever, Jeff, you're a moron. That's kind of like, you know, their mentality, just because it's not something that they're familiar with. I think it opened up their eyes a lot to, oh my God, like Jeff actually does stuff that these outside people like know about our fire station and they actually watch him. Like he's not just full of crap when he talks about doing this stuff. It's like, this thing is legit. And I'm always more than happy to have fans, especially at the fire station. That's someplace it's like, you know, I can't say it's not a public area, quote unquote, per se, but anybody from the public's allowed to go to the fire station and ask if they can get a tour or whatever. And we're always happy to oblige, but especially when it's fans and things like that. I think that's a perfect setting to come and to visit, say hi, you know, stop by, you know, really quick, gave her a tour of the fire station. I was really excited, and yeah, so thank you, Aviva Kitty, for stopping by. And not only that, but they brought us cookies. So, needless to say, half of them were gone already before I even got back, because some of the people at the station can't wait, even though they were not for them. They couldn't wait, but that's okay. They were there to share for everybody, but yeah, so we always love it. If you're going to come by, especially if you bring cookies, I will be extremely grateful. If you really want to impress me, you can always bring some steaks. We'll cook them on the grill. We'll have a good old time. But I thought that was pretty pretty awesome. So if you guys are ever in the area, and I've told somebody else in the chat before, they were talking about, I think they were talking about their son wanting to be a firefighter. And like he's young now, but he's obsessed with like fire trucks and things like that, and how they drive by my station every so often because they live in the general area as well. And I told them in the comments, I responded back to one of them, and I said, stop by anytime. I said, just let me know if you're going to come by, and I'll, you know, to make sure that I'm actually going to be there, because I'm there 90% of the Wednesdays, but sometimes it happens that I either don't go to the station, I have something else involved, or if I'm taking a class, sometimes the class will be on Wednesday nights and I won't get in until after the class is over, in which case it'll be like, you know, 10:30, 11 o'clock. But yeah, I've told people that they can, haha, take that, zombie, that they can feel free to stop by. So I thought that was really cool. And I know some people, there's some people that are concerned when I talk about my fire station. I've had people on videos and stuff, especially when I put up stations about videos about the fire station. They're like, Jeff, you got to be careful. And they're just saying it to be nice. They're not saying to be mean. They're saying, you know, Jeff, you got to be careful. Like this kind of gives away, you know, where your fire station's at. And I've never hidden where my fire station's at. I might hide where my personal house is. Like, I don't want people necessarily showing up at my door. Not that I would be non-friendly, especially for people if I was like, hey, let's do a meetup, you know, around the corner from my house or something like that. I wouldn't be against something like that. But I just don't want to be like out there and have, hey, look, it's this is my address. Come by whenever you want. You know, people don't need to see what I'm doing in my free time. People might lose respect for me, you know, drinking all the alcohol and things like that. I don't know. But yeah, yo, no, I'm always I'm always open to things like that. So I really enjoyed it. I'm very happy that you guys came by and visited, and would tell you guys you can come by whenever you want, because those cookies were delicious. So anyways, about that, I'm trying to, just updates on Life Channel, I think I said last time I was going to try to be making it to PAX South. That is still the case. I am getting steps and steps closer to doing so. I have now gotten passes, which is good, so hopefully I'll be able to go, because I've got the passes at the ready. It's just now a matter of mixing it in with work and everything else that I have to do. It's really difficult around the holidays, because I'm trying to prepare my team and everything to be able to be on, take holidays, and we can all take, let these guys fight it out for a while. This guy's gonna win. Whoa, man, he run fast. So I'm trying to let my, like, I don't have any specific plans I need to be home for either like Thanksgiving or Christmas or anything like that. I want to go home at some point over the winter, a couple times actually, because I want to go to, you know, to the ski hill. I didn't get to go skiing and snowboarding at all last year, and this year I promised them I'd go back for at least 60 hours of the season. So I got to get that worked out. And so I'm looking at the holiday time frame and trying to make sure my team gets all their stuff taken care of with their holidays, and I'll probably just take off like a day around like whatever holiday most people are not taking off. Granted, we get holidays off in the department I'm in now, but literally just the holiday. Whereas, you know, last year I was just on the floor doing nursing stuff, and we don't get the holidays off because, you know, we're nurses. Nurses have to work the holidays because, you know, places are still open. Hospitals don't close because it's a holiday, despite, you know, what a lot of people think. I don't think anybody really thinks that, but despite whether they think it or not, people sometimes have a very hard time understanding that, like friends and family members and things like that, knowing what type of profession I'm in, they're still like, what do you mean you can't come home for Thanksgiving or Christmas? Like, how can you not come home for either holiday? It's like, well, because the hospital doesn't close because it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. And they're like, yeah, but it's unfair that you have to work them both. It's like, yeah, I don't probably have to work both of those holidays themselves, but there's still the day after, the day before, the week surrounding. Like, we don't close down for those. And if I can't come home, if I can't get like 5 days in a row off, it's very difficult to come home because I only have Thanksgiving off. What do you want me to do? Fly out on Wednesday night and fly back in on Friday morning so I can work? No, it's not exactly like that. It's not feasible to do such things. Like, people have a hard time grasping that for some odd reason, and I don't understand why. Especially when it's my friends or family members of mine who are in similar industries who might have worked at a hospital for a period of time in their life, but now work at like a doctor's office setting, and the doctor's office is closed. And they're like, well, I'm a nurse too, and I get all this time off. It's like, yeah, but you also work in the doctor's office at this point, and the doctor shut it down. Like, you worked in a hospital 2 years ago. Like, well, yeah, but, you know, that was different. It's like, yeah, it's different, but that's what I still do. So it's not that much different for me. So, I mean, it's just a matter of getting all that stuff figured out. But either way, this goes back to time frame of PAX. And because PAX South is in January? And the very end of January, I believe, if I recall. I don't remember off the top of my head. I would have to look it up. But because of when it is, I just really have to look at the... I don't know why I just went down that way again. I have to look at the schedules because I want to be able to do sometime in the winter. I got to get some time off to go back to Michigan. I got to do that. And then I think PAX East is relatively shortly after that as well. So there's so many things I want to, like, fit in. Where? You might... I can't tell if you're up here at this hole that I was looking at or if you're... Oh, there you are. There y'all are. I knew y'all existed. Let's do that. Let's free these guys up a little bit. Oh, I thought he was going to blow them all up. Somebody killed some of that. Oh, did he kill the creeper? Or did this... Oh, he did kill the creeper. There's our record. I'm going to take this record. Yeah. Make sure nobody else is down here. Hi, buddy. Somebody else is down here. Let's real quick throw. I don't need this oak sapling. I don't need that either. I don't need whatever I just... Oh, got it. Music disc. It's going to be my first music disc of this snapshot. It's actually my first one in a very long time that I've gotten through the means of creeper getting killed by skeleton. Go see if this way is cleared out. I believe this way is pretty clear. So I knew I had gone through some area somewhere around here and didn't finish it off. That's what I was looking for when I kept going back down the same pit, is because I knew there was an area down here that I didn't finish off, and it led right to this area, which opened up into even more... Well, I guess not so much this way. So this was open as well. I just kept walking on by black areas. I was like, I don't care what's coming. I'm OP. What's up? I'm OP. Buddy. Yeah, you heard me. OP. OP. Oh, okay. I thought he actually wasn't hurting me for a minute, but my armor just must be pretty good that I'm gonna spam click. Spam click actually works decently on him. Kind of surprised. What's over here? I think I'm gonna try to finish out this section of this cave and call this video good. I'm not thinking it goes too much further. I love the different sounds that things make now when you hit them. It's kind of I was thinking about going for another record, but I didn't. Skeletons, man, have taken on so many different ways that they attack and do things since this game has started. It's very interesting. I remember when skeletons used to be like the scariest of all scary mobs. Look at Diamond. The scariest of all scary mobs that ever existed. And now they're getting back to where they're scary to an extent, but they're not crazy bad anymore. For a while, they were just like the pussy mobs of everything, though. They were weak. 15 diamonds. That's a lot of diamond. This is an area to go explore. That's not an area to go explore, but there's an area to go explore up here. Well, I think I have some areas left that I got to go check out and do some things with. So I'm going to just call it good here. I better dig into a wall a little bit just because if I log out and then log back in later and forget what I was doing, I'm going to get really, really confused. So this is going to be my resting spot for now. Guys, I will see you in the next episode.